Okay guys, another week, another The Summer I Turned Pretty episode review. I want to preface this by saying you guys asked for this. You guys wanted to hear more of my thoughts on The Summer I Turned Pretty. So I'm doing this for you guys. As always, these are just my opinions. You are welcome to have your own opinion. I am in no way trying to start a fight or hate on anybody. These are just my thoughts on the latest episode, episode 6. Starts out with Belly and Jeremiah house hunting. Belly has a crash out, and I know you guys are gonna somehow twist the situation to be Jeremiah's fault. Because like for some reason, most of the fandom thinks he's evil. I'm not really sure why, but if you watch the scene, I mean, the initial credit card thing was a bit irresponsible for sure. Belly is freaking out about the smell of cat pee, which I feel like is kind of fixable. Jeremiah sees that. They have a conversation and they agree to wait to sign a lease. Really nothing crazy here. Jeremiah goes back to work because he's actually working a lot this summer, unlike Conrad. And then we see Belly continuing to plan the wedding, and she is stressing so much about it. And it seems like she isn't actually having concerns about marrying Jeremiah. She's more just stressed and feeling alone because her mother is still continuing to ditch her. Laurel is by far the worst female character. I can make a whole separate video about her. She is absolutely horrible. But in this episode, we do get that big moment where she finally is convinced to take part in the wedding. Of course, because the show wants us to worship Conrad for some reason, Conrad has to be the one to convince her. I have so many issues with this diner scene. I don't even know where to start. The fact that Laurel does not change her opinion for anyone else except Conrad is genuinely so messed up. She doesn't care about anyone else's opinion. She doesn't care that her daughter and Jeremiah have been in a relationship for almost 5 years now. She didn't listen when Jeremiah gave her this speech. She didn't listen when John gave her this speech. Most of all, she didn't listen to her own daughter multiple times. I have to think about how many weeks have passed here that she has been putting her daughter through extreme pain. But she's suddenly ready to fold when Conrad comes to her. Like, what the heck? Regardless, it was nice of Conrad to do this. I feel like because he knows he has a good relationship with Laurel, this is a good thing to do for the sake of his brother and his future sister-in-law. And this is supposed to reflect well on Conrad. However, if you pay attention to the scene, you see Conrad's real intentions are not that pure. If anything, this scene made me dislike Conrad even more. You guys honestly glaze over Conrad so hard. Because tell me why. He can barely form the words that he also wants Jeremiah to be happy. I do believe that Conrad's biggest fault is his selfishness. He is one of the most selfish characters in the entire show. He clearly has some sort of soft spot for Belly, but like literally no one else. We constantly see him treat Jeremiah like literal crap. When like, let's be real, Jeremiah has never done anything to Conrad. I can make a whole video about this too, but the differences in the way the two brothers handle similar situations is crazy. Like when Jeremiah wants to get with Belly, he literally goes to Conrad and gives a whole speech about how Conrad should talk to Belly and confess his feelings and that he wants them both to be happy, and if Conrad is what she needs, then he'll take himself out of the picture. We never see Conrad do anything like that for Jeremiah, and now that it's been almost 5 years since that day at the hotel and they're engaged, Conrad can barely form the words that he wants Jeremiah to be happy. And yet we still see everyone saying he's the selfless, better brother. And because Laurel also worships Conrad for some reason, we get this whole Conrad, when do you get to be happy moment. Once again, trying to frame Conrad as the victim through all of this, which is just simply not true. Then we get to the bridal shower segment. This scene overall was really cute. Laurel did come around one way or the other at least. Belly does get nervous at one point, but her and Taylor have this super sweet heart-to-heart. And overall, we just see Belly like really happy and having fun, and it's so cute. Taylor and Steven finally talk. Taylor is one of my all-time favorite characters, but at this point, I'm rooting for Denise and Steven as a couple. I think Steven and Taylor should just be friends. I just don't really think they're right for each other anymore in a romantic way, but I do feel bad for Taylor still. This episode quickly starts to go downhill when we see Belly have an absolute freak out about this dog situation. This really makes no sense to me. I think the show is just going to literally any length possible to try and get us to like Conrad more. I think it's weird that it's causing her so much stress that she's mixed up who found the dog 15 years ago. Meanwhile, Jeremiah, Conrad, and Adam are suit shopping. Once again, Adam has made the entire day about Conrad for some reason, even though it's Jeremiah's wedding. Jeremiah is working overtime literally and figuratively to get on his dad's good side. Once again, Adam is completely ignoring him and focusing on Conrad, and Conrad is just like moping around the whole day because that's just what he does. Also, the scene where we find out Adam is dating Kaylee. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. After all these years, Belly and Conrad have just chosen not to tell Jeremiah about Adam and Kaylee's affair. The secrets that are piling up between Belly and Conrad and Jeremiah, it's honestly just painful to watch. But anyways, now we have arrived at the big scene, the surfboard scene. This is the final scene of the episode and by far the worst scene. I don't care what y'all say, this scene is weird, it is uncomfortable. Belly almost kissing Conrad is disgusting. Conrad repeatedly acting this way with an engaged woman, not just any engaged woman, his brother's fiance, is also disgusting. The amount of people, brands, and companies obsessing and glamorizing this scene is just, what? Also, the way the fandom is repeatedly encouraging Belly to cheat on Jeremiah with Conrad in literally every single episode, but y'all were having heart attacks about the Cabo situation. The double standards in this show are ridiculous. I could make a whole video about that. I want to hear all your guys' thoughts down below. I just know these next episodes are going to be even messier.